On this day in 1999, a movie was released. A movie that changed the game for horror flicks. The Blair Witch Project.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
15 years ago, this remarkably low-budget movie made history.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not going top 10 horror flicks today. I'm not. I'm going just a little deeper. Top 10 slasher movie killers.
Okay. Well, I don't know much about those.
Oh, but I
I'm
do.
a scaredy cat. But we'll see. Maybe I do.
I love horror movies, and I love the psychology behind the characters. And a lot of these guys you'll know and remember. We all do. But
Yeah.
I put them in the order that I prefer. And that's why it's Gude's top 10.
Top 10.
All right. Number 10 on my top 10 slasher movie killers is Jason. And we all know Jason from the Friday the 13th movies. Okay, well, in part 1,
I know the
his
mask.
mother was the killer. Yeah, he was killed at a summer camp because the idiot teenagers were too busy having sex and wasn't watching him, and he drowned in Crystal Lake.
Okay.
Well, his mother, avenging his death, went back to that camp and was killing the teenagers.
Oh, it was the mom? Really?
In part 1.
I never
After
knew
that, Jason took over. And he made those idiot teenagers pay in a big way.
So he's dead?
And he drowned in the water, in the lake, and he would come back on Friday the 13th and
Every
wreak
year.
havoc. Number 9 on my top 10 slasher movie killers is Freddy Krueger.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Freddy. I love Freddy. He was burned to death. He was a pedophile.
Really? I didn't know he was a pedophile.
And the neighborhood families burned him to death. And he started to reappear in the dreams of the next generation. And he would kill them in their sleep whilst they dreamed about him.
See, I really didn't watch it.
Anyway, Freddy Krueger to me is one of the best. As a kid, as an adult, it's just good fun. It's not like he was scary, like that. Everyone had a Freddy nightmare,
scary.
I think, at some point.
He was scary. That's why I didn't watch him. I don't like to be scared.
I was 5 years old, and I had like a 5-foot cardboard cutout of Freddy Krueger in my bedroom. I was a fan of Freddy.
Wow.
Number 8 on my top 10 slasher movie killers is Michael Myers from Halloween. Another
I'm getting the masks
case.
mixed up.
Michael Myers, from the Halloween
Jason
movies.
had
Come
the
on now.
white mask, right?
He had the white hockey mask. Michael
And what
Myers
is-
had the white face, but he had the hair and everything.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, Michael Myers, a disturbed child, to say the least, grew up, even as a small kid, committing his first murders, killed his sister and her boyfriend and stepdad. And anyway, grew up in a mental institution, blah, blah, blah. He's just fucking crazy. Michael Myers, number 8. Fuck you. Okay. Number 7 on my top 10 slasher movie killers, horror flick stars, is Pinhead from Hellraiser. Everybody knows Pinhead. Come on. You can't be that out of the loop. Come on. For those of you that know about slasher movies like that, the good old horror flicks, Pinhead was classic. Just demented. I love that guy. I loved watching the movie. He was the star of the show. All right, number 6 on my top 10 horror flick killers is Candyman. Say Candyman 5 times and he comes and destroys you. And the cool thing about Candyman, he was a brother.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, Candyman.
So, I mean, to me, he was just classic. He was legendary, the deep voice, and he was just...
Scary.
He was sick with it. I thought so. I liked it. All right. Number 5 on my top 10 slasher/horror flick killers, Norman Bates from the classic Alfred Hitchcock movie Psycho.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Norman Bates was a seriously twisted motherfucker. Twisted.
Yeah.
And that movie wasn't all slashered up like that, you know, people getting killed left and right. It was a real psychological horror flick. And Norman Bates was an incredible character in my eyes. All right. Number 4 on the top 10 slasher movie killers, Samara from The Ring. I don't know if you remember her crawling out of the well.
I never watched that movie.
With the long hair. Oh,
yes, the commercials.
God.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
I remember going to a haunted hayride type situation one time, and we're on this shit, and Michael Myers and all these other people is jumping out. There's a well in the middle of these woods.
Oh, gosh.
And this chick came crawling out of the well and came crawling all creepily fast at us. Oh. Man. Scared the shit. That's a scary bitch.
Yeah, isn't she like a contortionist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Samara's number 4.
Samara
Morgan. Oh, God, that shit is scary.
Pretty name.
Creepy. That shit still scares me. All right. Number 3 on my top 10 horror movie killers is Jack Torrance, played by the great Jack Nicholson in the movie The Shining. Everybody remembers him poking his little head through the door. You know what I mean? Here's Johnny. I mean, to me, he terrified the fuck out of me watching that shit. And
Jack Nicholson has an effect on people.
Yeah, and he's number 3. Jack Torrance is number 3. Number 2 on my top 10 horror movie killers is Hannibal Lecter, played by another great actor, Anthony Hopkins, in Silence of the Lambs, and many others, the sequel and so forth.
That one I have seen. It puts the lotion in the basket.
He played the perfect loon, and a brilliant one.
Basket.
It's scary as shit.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Okay. And remember, this isn't my top 10 horror movies. This is just my favorite horror.
Slasher.
This is my slasher movie characters. My favorite bad guys.
The actual,
Number 1, and if you don't like my list, fuck you. Not you, anyone. Number 1 on my top 10 horror movie killers / bad guy, whatever.
Oh, yes.
Is Regan from The Exorcist, played by Linda Blair.
Girl.
The little girl scares the living hell out of me.
Yes, I think she probably is part of the reason why I can't do scary movies all my life. I think I saw that. Or Poltergeist? No.
As a kid watching horror movies, it never bothered me. But when I first saw The Exorcist, I was fucking scared.
You were bothered.
I was bothered. Now I'm not, but it still gives me the chills. It's a good piece of acting. So yeah. Anyway, this ties in to the 15th anniversary. The 15th anniversary of the Blair Witch Project, because Regan was played by Linda Blair.
Oh, really? Okay.
Blair Witch. Blair. Anyway, that's my top 10 horror movie characters. Fuck you if you don't like it. If you do like it, what up to you?
What up? Creepy.